Hey, how's it going, guys? This is M34. So today I'm going to be talking about another fighting technique you can use in Arkham City. And this is just going to be for the PC version of Arkham City. The first video I mentioned three things that you have to keep note of, and these are the basic things, the three techniques, which is one, which is jumping, which you press W and the spacebar twice together. And the other one is over here, we got countering, which is the left mouse key, and then that's hitting. That's for the left mouse key, and countering is with the right mouse key. So these three things are the ones that you got to focus on primarily. And I also talked about how you have to have a camera angle, meaning that you have to move around a lot. You got to use this mouse to move around a lot and to analyze your space as best you can. So it's very useful to know where you're looking. So a really good technique that I mentioned in the last one was that you got to, wherever you want to hit, you got to look in that direction. So now I'm going to be doing something a bit different, which might contradict the other video just a little bit. But in this video, it's going to be about applying those techniques, but also incorporating some movement into that, right? So generally what happens is when you're playing in the fighting mode, what happens is you got to just go in one direction initially, and then after that you can just use the mouse and you can go in any other direction. But now we're going to go into another thing, which it doesn't necessarily save that much time, but it does simplify things just a little bit for you. So I'm going to go into one of the challenges. Again, we're going to do one of the basic ones. Let's go to the second one. So, just waiting for this to load. Okay, let's get started. Alright, so in this challenge, what's going to happen is, so for example, you hit somebody. You can go back as well. You see that? So initially, before, what I proposed was, you go over here, you jump, you change direction, and you do that. So over here, what I did was I used my mouse, and I changed the way I was facing, and then I hit the thug. But in this new technique, all you have to do is you don't have to necessarily change your mouse every single time. The point of this is just to get like a quick hit, but you have to be very accurate. If you're not accurate, you're going to end up getting hit by another thug. So, for example, I go over here. Let me just dodge that. Okay. Right, so I hit that person right there, then I can go over there. See how I'm hitting the D key? I got hit that time, but I'm pressing down the D key, and because of that, I'm able to change direction without actually looking in that certain direction. So I'm looking straight. If I want to go to the side, or if I want to go back, if I want to go straight up forward, just like that. Again, keep in mind that this is another technique you have to incorporate into my original techniques that I talked to you about in the last video, which was jumping, countering, and hitting. So jumping, then you hit, and then if there's somebody that's there to counter, you counter them. So the point being is, this technique saves, I don't think it would necessarily save time. It's just something that makes you feel a bit more comfortable. So you see that, how I'm pressing it? I'm not even facing in that direction. I'm facing towards those gates, and I press the D key. So this is a really good technique that you could use if you feel like you don't want to change directions right away. But again, you have to have a really good understanding of your surroundings, right? So if I'm going here, I'm hitting somebody, hit them once, again. I got hit by that time though, but you hit them, then you go this way. See, now that is that's something that you got to be very specific about. But then again, you can't continue to do this. You have to eventually change direction. So my advice, just incorporate it into the other three things that I told you. So hitting, countering, and jumping, you just incorporate it into that. What I usually do is I just kind of hit one or two people, then I just get back to like changing my angle and stuff. So you just got to be very particular about that. And always make sure that you're not doing this too much. Don't overly use it. Just like my last video, I said that you got to keep a bit of a balance. You got to find that sweet spot. I told you that you had to use jumping, hitting, and countering in unison, right? But in unison, I meant that you have to use them as much as you can. Doesn't matter what the order is. And you have to find that balance, because if you're jumping too much, like I said in the last video, you're going to get distracted and you're going to feel very uncomfortable when it comes to countering. So same thing with this strategy. If you're doing this too much, what's going to end up happening is you're not going to have a sense of direction. You're going to feel very uncomfortable. Not necessarily from it's just because you're switching right away to another thing, right? So you got to be very specific about it. Let me just demonstrate. This might be better if I demonstrate it to you. See, I hit that guy who was behind me. See, I get hit. So that's the point. Like, see, like that isn't sensible. Usually what happens is this type of misdirection does work when you're doing a beatdown. So beatdown, you can press Q on PC. See how I'm just facing that direction? You see that? So usually if you were to just use the camera, right, you'd have to look straight and go like that. So with the beatdown, it's much more beneficial to do it to the side by pressing A, because then you can see whether or not there's somebody behind you, right? And that helps you counter easily. So just keep this in mind. This is a very good technique that you could use. Again, when you're fighting in Arkham City, you have to make sure that you are incorporating this correctly into the other three that I talked about. So yeah, that should work out. And finally, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to demonstrate one round of me using all three of these together. Okay, so I'm just going to restart the challenge. Just so you guys kind of get a bit of an idea. If you haven't watched the last video, you can go watch it. I talked about jumping, countering, and hitting. Those are the three basics. And in this video, I'm just going to talk about adding one more, which is just moving around without actually moving your mouse. Without changing your camera angle, specifically. So, all right. So let's demonstrate this. See, I got him right there. I'm going to press A. I got him. I'm going to go W. Then I'm going to go D. There you go. And there you go. I'm also countering. See, look at that. Countering, hitting, jumping, all working together. I think this round might be a much better demonstration. There was not that many thugs in that round. Let's go to this one. Okay, I missed that one right there. Hit that thug. I jump again. And then I go over there. Then I hit that thug. Then I hit that thug. Then I hit that one. Another good tip, I think I might have mentioned this in the last video as well. You can try jumping on the outside and then hitting a thug, right? Because that also creates a lot of space. Again, always keep in mind that you have to create space as well. Don't be too hasty, all right? Don't just go right into the battle thinking that, you know, it's going to work out for you if you don't create space. So make sure you're doing that. Did you see what I just did there? I just didn't change the camera angle completely. I just went back and did it. So very useful. And the other thing that I'm going to show you with this is how this actually works when you are doing a beatdown. How it's very beneficial for beatdowns as well. So beatdowns, you just press Q. So first I press Q. See right there? Because I changed the angle just a little bit, I was able to... See, I'm not really looking in that direction. But it really helps because you can see who's behind you. Press that. I went over there. Then I go straight back there. Then I go over there. Then I go over there. Without changing the camera angle at all. So never use it excessively, but use it to your own. I'm going to go back. Just watch. See? I'm going to go back again. I'm going to press. So you got to be very careful with that. And yeah, that's just the purpose of this video. I just wanted to show you guys this other technique that you could use. And yes, again, I didn't talk about beatdowns in the first one. I will talk about them in more detail later on. But basically, it's just you stun the thug, and then you just, what it implies exactly, you beat them out. You beat them down. And you can get like a bit of a combo. You see that? So it's pretty good. It's much more useful for thugs that have armor. It's not as useful for the thugs that don't have any armor on them, because they're probably just going to be beat down after a couple. And once they're beat down, they're completely done. Like, that thug has been taken down, right? So, and you see this? In many other Arkham City videos, some of the more pro players, what they do is they manage to do beatdowns as well, like along with the gameplay, which is a really good skill. Again, for me, what I do is if there's an armored thug, in this one there's obviously no armored thugs, but if there is an armored thug, I just press E, which is a special takedown, and I take down that thug. And yeah, it's up to you whichever method you want to use, because there are many challenges. There's one that where you have to get 1,000,000 points as compared to this one, which is like 40,000. And in that challenge, sometimes you have to come in contact with a lot of armored thugs, and the better way to go about it is to just press E. That's really simple. But yeah, again, you can add this new technique into your arsenal, which is just using WASD. Simple as that, WASD, and only use it when you're really confident that, in that direction there's not as many thugs. And this can only be used when you're kind of just not changing your camera angle at all. You're just looking in one direction and you just want to go back very quickly. So you can utilize this. Again, we got jump, we got counter, we have hitting, and then we have this one, which is WASD, and you just don't change the camera angle. Again, thank you so much for watching, guys. This is just another one of those videos I wanted to make to show you what can be done. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya.